the unemployment rate fell to 3.5%, down from 3.7%. That is the lowest level since 1969.
We just saw a fantastic jobs report. 50-year low unemployment rate.
We have a 50-year low for the unemployment rate. Wages have risen 3.1% over the last year.
If you look at wage in isolation, you do have individuals that will move for 25 cents, 50 cents an hour. I mean, that's real.
This is the brand new break room at Marvin. Marvin isn't a tech startup. It's not a boutique creative agency. It's not a Gen Z digital outlet. Marvin is a fourth-generation, family-owned manufacturing company, headquartered in War Road, a remote town in northern Minnesota. Like, really remote. So remote that Marvin had to fly us up there on a private company plane to shoot this story. Marvin makes windows and doors, and they've been doing it for a while. Think over 100 years, based in this same remote northern Minnesota town the whole time. And their employees? Well, they've been there a while, too.
Been here 25 years.
I have 14 years of service.
I've been at Marvin for almost 13 years.
Even with a loyal workforce, Marvin and other manufacturers find themselves squeezed by this historically tight labor market, where unemployment is low and workers have more job opportunities. And not just workers in San Francisco and New York. Even in this rural, Midwestern town with more than 1,700 people that sits 6 miles from the Canadian border. So, just like the big guys in the most populous cities, Marvin had to get creative. The strong U.S. economy has led to a tight labor market. That means there are more jobs available than workers to fill them. Unemployment came in at 3.5% in December 2019. That's a 50-year low. There have been more job openings than unemployed people since early 2018. And the manufacturing industry is not immune. In fact, those numbers are even more dire for employers. In December 2019, the unemployment rate in the manufacturing space was sitting around 2.7%. The labor market for this industry has been getting tighter and tighter since 2010.
We've had unemployment rates underneath 4%, 16 out of the last 18 months. These are tight labor markets. Firms are competing for workers, and they're trying any margin they can do to successfully compete for them.
That competition comes in many forms. Some employers are easing hiring requirements. A 2019 survey found that 62% of employers would hire workers with less than the required experience. And larger companies have gotten more creative about how they attract and keep their talent. AOL routinely hosts lip sync competitions. Adobe built meditation rooms. Intel offers free on-site car washes. But many of those companies have at least one thing in common. They're in big cities with lots of workers. But Marvin isn't. The company employs more than 2,000 people in their War Road facilities. That's more than the entire population of the town. This means that even in a less competitive economy, they would still need to attract workers from outside of War Road. And even though some manufacturers have laid off workers in recent months, unemployment throughout manufacturing industry employees is still low, and competition for these workers is as fierce as ever in the northern Minnesota region. Polaris, the multi-billion-dollar ATV and snowmobile manufacturer, has a factory just 20 miles down the road in Roseau, Minnesota. It's about a 26-minute drive away.
Around northern Minnesota, the jobs are available all over the place out there. So that's one of the things that it's hard to retain people and keep people in the area.
One way that Marvin does compete right now is on salary. Starting pay at Marvin is between $15.25 and $18.25 per hour. That's higher than the Minnesota minimum wage, which is $10 per hour. But with unemployment at a historic low, Marvin is stepping up its game. Part of that strategy? Turn the factory into a place where people enjoy spending their time. That brand new break room that Marvin built, there's a reason it looks like it would fit right in at the Airbnb or Google offices. It's because Marvin went on a design inspiration tour right through Silicon Valley.
We've been to Google, we've been to Pinterest, Airbnb.
The space uses Swedish design. It has pastel colors, a communal meeting table, new booths, power outlets, and one employee favorite, lots of new microwaves. Marvin also cut into the ceiling of the plant to add skylights, the only way to get natural light into a room located in the middle of a building. It may have been a wise decision. According to the Harvard Business Review, quote, comfortable light is an important wellness perk to 50% of workers.
I definitely like how bright it is. It seemed so gloomy and dungeony before.
Project involves renovating all the bathrooms in the building, some of which hadn't been remodeled since the 60s. Marvin's also adding private telephone booths on the floor and updating the offerings for new mothers.
The idea for the lactation pods came from our HR team that supports the operations group. And I received an email from a couple of them and had indicated A, there's a need. But then B, in an airport, we saw one of these, mobile, pods, and they said, well, could we give it a try?
And Marvin isn't just making changes to its physical workspaces. The company is also experimenting with a revamped work schedule. Marvin introduced a new long weekend shift, offering employees flexibility and work-life balance. Jenna Kendrick was born in Warroad and has worked at Marvin for 6 years. Earlier this year, she left her job as a production senior to become the weekend lead. Her team of 6 works 12-hour shifts on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Not having to find somebody to drive my children to their events has been just a big relief, and also being able to see them play their games, because most of their summer events games are during the week. I also have my youngest, he is 7 years old. He is home, and when my 2 oldest are out playing sports, I have nobody to watch him, so that's another relief.
Flexible scheduling isn't unique to Marvin. Non-traditional perks like flexible scheduling, fitness incentives, and on-site healthy food options topped U.S. workers' wish lists, according to a 2019 survey. Marvin's efforts appear to be working, at least with their current employees. The renovations and updated shift schedules are popular.
It shows that they care. You get to come and enjoy your break in here, and the atmosphere, and even the bathroom.
Marvin declined to disclose the exact cost of their renovations, but promised the commitment they're making is, quote, not small. But if they're already spending all that money, could the answer to hiring and retaining employees be as simple as just giving everybody a raise?
We make sure we're providing meaningful work for a fair wage. I don't think things are siloed. I don't think it's this or this. It's a blend of many things to provide a total experience for the employee.
In addition to trying to create that total experience, the renovations will also likely be cheaper for Marvin than an across-the-board raise. Economists say that non-traditional perks let companies improve an employee's time at work, but more importantly, those perks don't drag down company profits.
So when they do a wage increase, what they're doing is they're changing the nature of the bargain with the employee. That becomes the new base. So that's part of the whole cost of doing business. It sort of eats into their profit margin. And how slim are their margins in terms of where they operate, say, in a very competitive environment. If they do a benefit, kind of a one-off benefit, such as something like having these really beautiful break rooms and things like that, there is an investment, but it's not a continual contribution necessarily to a higher pay scale to maintain that benefit.
Even if employees are happy, there's another problem decades in the making. Manufacturing workers and the towns that house them are getting older. According to a 2016 study, 27% of manufacturing employees are 55 and older, meaning the industry is facing a wave of retirements in the next decade, or even sooner. Marvin knows this. It's another reason behind the renovation decision.
Marvin has been blessed in that we have so many employees who have been here decades upon decades upon decades.
Remember?
25 years.
I have 14 years of service.
Almost 13 years.
But there's an inevitable downside to celebrating so many multi-decade work anniversaries.
But we are making decisions, and we're looking at our shift schedules in different ways to, accommodate and look at the incoming, generations, as well as our current generations too, so that we can be a desirable place where, people they're coming here not just to do a job, but they feel connected in a broader way to our purpose and what we're doing.
Polaris, the snowmobile company with a plant in nearby Roseau, is also feeling the pressure.
We had reached out and partnered with 31 different schools, in about a 2-hour radius, from Roseau, to ensure that we've got the connections and the relationships and are not only supporting, but, building the interest, bringing students in through internships throughout the summer, providing a look for them to see that it's just not a job at Polaris, it's a career.
Roseau County, which includes both Warroad and Roseau, has its own initiatives to attract new talent to the rural region. The city of Roseau estimates the area loses around 3/4 of its 18 to 22-year-old population when they leave for college. They're focused on drawing those people back to small-town life in their late 20s, when they have kids and are looking for stability. The county runs a down payment assistance program aimed at helping new residents purchase a home and put down roots in the area. The revolving loan program provides eligible candidates with up to $7,500 to be used for a down payment. Funding comes in part from major employers in the area, including both Polaris and Marvin. These northern Minnesota initiatives are part of a larger nationwide trend. The Kansas Commerce Department offers up to $15,000 in student loan repayments for individuals who move to one of its 80 rural counties. And in the Northeast, Vermont is putting up cold, hard cash. The state's program offers new residents $10,000 over 2 years in an attempt to draw people to an aging state with 2.3% unemployment. By 2030, 24% of Vermont's population will be over 65, up from just 13% in 2006. Those initiatives may be working. Millennials are leaving big cities by the thousands. In 2018, nearly 27,000 people aged 25 to 39 left cities like New York and San Francisco for more family-friendly and affordable places to live. It was the 4th year in a row these urban centers saw their young adult population shrink. Christine Marvin says attracting those young workers to Warroad will be a part of Marvin's next chapter.
We're in a new age, right? And we're in such a fast-paced, digital world, and now where experiences, are king alongside, the quality products we create, that we're in a unique position to help, make the future real and help drive us into that, that next generation.
And if the future is modern break rooms, mobile lactation pods, spa-like bathrooms, and schedules aimed at work-life balance, Warroad, Minnesota just might be able to give those big cities a run for their money.
Invest in you. Ready, set, grow. CNBC and Acorns.